Nau mai, haere mai, kia koutou katoa mai, I konei I Waitangi. Welcome everyone from Waitangi, where at times today, not everyone felt welcome. The coalition government, or what some here are calling the three-headed taniwha, were brought onto the Waitangi Treaty Grounds with a stirring pohere, in front of the biggest crowd the annual commemorations have seen in many years. They came with the promise of robust debate. And as political editor Jenna Lynch reports, they weren't disappointed.
Behold the mana of Ngāpuhi. The guardians of Te Tiriti leading the crown onto a packed pai upon the sacred Waitangi Treaty Grounds, inviting them to engage in the discussion they've been asking for, a debate on the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi.
Prime Minister, this is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to have the discussions. It's a beautiful day to have the robust debate.
Robust was an understatement.
To strip the treaty of its mana, to belittle the reo by trying to make it a second-class language in our land, it ain't gonna happen.
Hone Harawira was the first to fire up the gathered crowd.
And you want to cut the treaty in front of all of these people? Hell no!
Telling David Seymour in particular where to go.
So when it comes time to see where this is going to go into legislation, you and your shitty ass bill are going down the toilet.
His speech spurred a group of protesters to march onto the pai, holding signs saying Toitu Te Tiriti, honour the treaty. When it came time for the government to respond, the song sheets could not have been more different. Shane Jones honoured with a haka.
Why didn't you join the International Court of Justice like South Africa and say, ceasefire now?
Acts Nicole McKee a waiata. But when Winston Peters took the mic, the spirit shifted.
This is very, very brief because we have another appointment with a number of ambassadors from overseas who've come all the way to this country to advantage our economy and our relationship internationally, and they're important.
He let rip.
Whoever said we're getting rid of the Treaty of Waitangi? Tell me. No, we didn't. You tell me whoever said we're getting rid of the Treaty of Waitangi. So stop the crap, stop the nonsense, stop the hysteria.
He did not pull a single punch.
But if you think separatism and division is going to take us to 2040, you're dreaming. And I'm telling you, let me tell you, sunshine, I used to go to the marae where they had a thing called tikanga and protocol and respect, and not you shouting. See what I mean? See? Get an education. Get some manners. You had plenty of time. You had all these people speaking here. You see what I mean?
I thought it was combative, and once you get and start using provocative language, and you start off with an uppercut, you're eventually going to get one back.
Peters unapologetic.
Well, there's a certain protocol that when they were talking it was accepted, but when we were talking it's not.
Unsurprising to his closest colleagues.
Why would anyone be surprised about Winston's delivery? I'm not.
David Seymour, the man who many had come to protest, followed Peter's path.
And I say to Te Pāti Māori, if you want to have a battle of ideas, then it helps to come armed for that battle.
He was insulted by the language used.
Today I've heard people say that we are spiders on this side, that we are sandflies. Well, I'm sorry to say, folks, not even Donald Trump is calling his opponents insects yet.
Others insulted by his actions, drowning him out with a waiata.
Its own future. Newsflash, you don't.
Singing, sit down and listen.
I got news for you. There's people up and down the country watching you, and they're asking, why do those people have a right to stop the rest of New Zealand debating its own future? Newsflash, you don't. One of the bad things that could come out of their behaviour is for the rest of New Zealand to see their behaviour as representing all Māori. It most certainly does not.
I thought it was very unfair. Yeah, and we should have done more. It's my apologies to them both. And for Nicole, for that matter, for not shutting that down earlier to give them the space and the time to articulate themselves clearly.
Before anything boiled over, a call for calm.
Aroha, aroha, aroha.
The Prime Minister changed the government's tune, waiting patiently to step up to the maho and recite his scripted vision for the future.
Unity doesn't mean all of us being or thinking exactly the same. We can value our differences. We can debate them constructively while respecting each other and still find a pathway towards a better future together.
On that, perhaps everyone agrees. Judging by today, the pages don't even seem to be in the same book.
Well, Jenna joins us now. Kia ora, Jenna. Whew. So did the government walk away from here having eased any of the tension with Māori?
Well, that's certainly what they've been saying the goal was. David Seymour and Winston Peters at least addressed the tension, but perhaps did more to inflame it than diffuse it. Christopher Luxon just didn't even go near it. It seemed at times as though the leaders were talking past the people gathered here at Waitangi to their own support bases at home. A lot of the unease is around the Treaty Principles Bill, David Seymour's plan to redefine the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi. Christopher Luxon didn't even mention it in his speech today, but when questioned about it afterwards, we did for the first time hear him come close to acknowledging the bill was creating division for no reason, because ultimately National is going to throw it on the scrap heap once it has fulfilled its coalition commitment to act to support it to first reading. There is so much water to go under the bridge still. This bill hasn't even been drafted yet, and given the depth of feeling that we've seen here at Waitangi, it is going to be uncomfortable every step of the way. The tension may last a lot longer than the bill that's created it.
Political editor Jenna Lynch, tēnā koe.